Good morning, everyone, and how are you doing on this fantastic Saturday? And welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show. I am your host, Dr. Will. I'm here this morning with ChaChanna. Look, we haven't connected in a long time. She was a part of my first series of podcasts a long time ago, a few years ago, and now we're back. She is an awesome coach. And today we will be talking about finding and owning your voice in the social media space. And you don't need to hear from me anymore. ChaChanna, how are you doing? And introduce yourself to the people.
Well, thank you for having me, Dr. Will. I am stellar, as per usual. And so, just to introduce myself, so my full name is ChaChanna Simpson, but you can call me Empress for short. I am a coach, and I help women who are ready to own their voice, whether it's on social media or it's in person, and helping them really love their bodies as they are without going on a diet or working out like a fiend. It's really all about developing confidence, because I know that when a woman is confident, then she will move forward and do all the things that she wants to do, go for the life, the careers. There are probably cures out there and all types of inventions that are not happening because the woman is not feeling confident because she doesn't like how she looks. And that's really where I start with, because I know if I can get in there and get the woman to love the way she looks, then that'll develop the confidence everywhere else. And so that's what I do.
All right. Y'all gonna learn something today. You hear that? You hear that? So, what resonates with you about people owning their voice?
Well, when I hear owning your voice, I hear being confident. And when you're owning your voice, you are really, I don't know if you, it also goes on, people say finding your voice, and a lot of people are trying to discover their voice, but your voice is with you. You know what you want. You know what you want to say. You know what you want to go after. But when you're confident, you'll go ahead and do it. When you're not owning your voice, you're really listening to the louder voices of other people who don't know much about you or what you want. Because family, or friends, they tend to put you in a box and say, oh, well, I know this is what you want. I know this is what you want to do. And because you trust them and you're not feeling as confident and not listening to your own voice, you're going to listen to them because, like, well, they know better, so I'm just going to listen to what they want. But you want to really own your voice, be confident, and believe in the choices that you're making, because this is your life and your decisions, and you have to look at yourself 24 hours a day. And if you can't look at that person, if you're not happy with what you see, then what kind of life are you really living?
Okay. So, and we have some feedback.
Do you? I don't hear any feedback.
Okay. So, in leveraging one's voice, is it different offline than it is online?
It shouldn't be. The person that you are in person, you should be that same person online, and vice versa. Because if you're in the social media space and you are a business owner or even an educator, you want people to know who you are, not this person you're pretending to be, because eventually you're going to slip up and be your real self. And if people fall in love or gravitate towards your personality that you portray online, and then they meet you in person, like, well, that doesn't really jive, so how can I trust this person or what they say, because now they're not being who I thought they were online. And you don't want to be that way. Just be yourself. Unless you're an actor and that's your job and you're pretending to be a character online or something like that, then that's fine. But otherwise, if you're really looking to connect with people, then be genuine and be who you are all across the board.
Okay, so you talk about this, and this is something that is really well known with you, but what exactly does being stellar mean, and how does that shape one's voice?
So stellar, that is my word. I picked it up 7 years ago because it's rarely used, although it's being used a lot now. I like to think that's because of me. But when I think of stellar, I think of happiness and confidence, and those two things together. So what that has to do with owning one's voice is, I have a business called Your Stellar Star. And the star, think of a star that has 5 points. So in this star, you have you, everything that's going on with you, your spiritual, your emotional, your career, your finances, your health, and your relationships. And when all those things are the way you want them to, they're brilliant, then you are the stellar star in the universe called your life. So what that has to do, you know, Dr. Will, you're in a relationship and things are not going well in your relationship. When you go to work, you're not fully there. You're still thinking about what's going on in the relationship. Or if your health is not right, and you're going to maybe take that in your relationship, or it affects your money. It's all intertwined. So when it comes to how that amplifies your voice, you have to pay attention to the different areas in your life, what's going on in your health, what's going on in your relationship, and always working on that and building confidence in your health, how you feel about yourself, building confidence in the relationships that you have, in your career. So it's always working on certain area, because not all the time are we confident in every area all the time, and that's okay. But as long as we continue to work on it, we'll get there. You'll own your voice, because you'll know, okay, in my relationships, this is the person that I want to be. This is the person that I want to show up as. This is the person I want to attract into my life. In your health, this is the type of health I want to have. These are the things that I want to do. This is how I feel about my body. With my money, this is how I'm going to manage it. So it really all intertwines.
Okay, so are there any advantages or disadvantages to communicating among the various social platforms, and is there one suited to specific voices than others?
I would say in general that there is no, the disadvantage I see some people when they're using social media is that they try to be on every single one. And there are so many out there. There are new ones coming up every week. Periscope is something new where you can live stream everything in your life from your phone. Then you have Snapchat and all these other things. If you're trying to be on every single one because you want to have that presence everywhere, that's not going to work for you, because you won't have any time to do your work or to do your lesson plans if you're a teacher or anything. You're just going to be on social media the whole time. The advantage would be to find the one that you enjoy being on and just work that, because that will help you get more success. And also, if there are people there who you enjoy speaking to on that social media platform, you'll connect more, and that'll be better for you. So I wouldn't say there's one suited more to a certain person. It just really depends on who you are and where you like hanging out online.
Mm-hmm. So which platforms do you like best, and how did you get started vlogging?
So the social media platforms for me change. So when I first started to be on social media, of course there was Facebook when that came out, but I was a heavy Twitter user for about 2-3 years. And then it just kind of fell off for me, and I pop on there every now and again, but I'm not heavily on it. The ones that I like now are Instagram and Facebook, because I like to look at pictures. So I'm on there a lot, be nosy, see what everybody else is seeing. So that's the one that I'm on the most, that one, and Facebook. And I forgot the other part of your question.
How did you get started vlogging?
How did I get started vlogging? That was 4 years ago. I put up a video. It was an interview that I did on a local TV station. And then the second one, I started doing my own videos, doing motivational videos. And I'm not sure what made me get on there. I've been off and on for that for a while. Like I do a couple of videos, then I stop. But right now I'm on there. I have a show that I do now called A Stellar Day with ChaChanna, which is all about confidence and giving you tips and missions to make your day more stellar. So now I'm on that. So that's kind of how I started. I don't know exactly what it was that made me say, oh, I'm just going to start vlogging. Maybe it was me at the time thinking, just testing out. And that's what I suggest people do. Test out social media sites and see what you like and what you don't like. Because before you commit, you want to just test it out a little bit. And right now, vlogging is what I'm doing.
Okay. Now, is there a golden rule to meaningful connection? And which rules or standards do you live by?
I believe that the golden rule should be just be genuine, because that's who people are going to connect with. And with social media, all we have is what you put out there. So be genuine in what you put out there, because people want to get to know you. They want to know the things that you are doing so that they can say, oh, okay, I have this similar interest, or they do this too, and they feel connected to you. So when you're genuine, that builds a connection and builds trust, and that's what you want, trust. And there was
Okay.
another part I think I missed.
Well, it was about which rules do you live by?
So being genuine, definitely, and also being helpful, and being a little and having fun with it. I think people come onto social media sometimes and they're so serious about it, and they don't really, it's all about business for them, so they don't really show who they are. So for me, it's being genuine, having a little fun. Sometimes I'll definitely post something about confidence and something from an article that's related, but also maybe I'll put a joke that I heard, or I'll say something funny that happened to me during the day. So really just being genuine is the real rule that I suggest people follow, and it's definitely one that I follow.
Okay. So I know I gave some questions beforehand, but see, something kind of popped into me because what you talked about earlier with the star and the 5 points. One of the things that I want to do with my show, because I'm done with talking about tools like 5 things you can do with Google Drive. I'm done with that. I'm more so about the conversation and where those conversations can take people, can help people, and empower people. And my audience, I guess, when I look at my audience, I know they're educators, but they are still people, and live everyday lives like other people. So, excuse me. So let's kind of touch back on some of the 5 points that you were talking about, and sort of people owning who they are and how that helps them or affects all other parts of their lives. When you are working with people, or someone may stop you somewhere in a conference and say, "Oh, what are some tips you have? What should people look for, or sort of how should they begin the process of starting to sort of define who they are and work towards that wholeness that you were talking about?"
Awesome, great question. So the first thing I would think to suggest is where are you unhappy? Where are you unhappy in your life? Because you can't work, I don't think you can work on all those 5 points, yourself, your career, your health, your finances, relationships, all at the same time. So you pick the area that's not working for you right now. And let's say it was in your health, and you're not happy about that. And think of, what is it that you're not happy about? Is it what you're eating? Is it maybe the shape of your body? And then think, okay, if it's that, why do I feel this way about it? And in that question, you need to discover, is it because that's what you actually think, or is it because someone has told you, or you got from somewhere, the media, anywhere, that that's how you should feel about the way you look? Because I'm into really focusing on how you feel and not listening to the voices of others. Because a lot of influences come in, and as I said earlier, people deciding how you should behave and how you should act because that's how they want you to, but not really how you are. So figure out where you are with your unhappiness, where are you settling, and then really define what would it be for you to make you feel better. And you can only do that by testing out maybe a new direction, or maybe a new food, new exercise. If it's a relationship, maybe leaving that relationship or taking a break from it, and really get in touch with how you feel, not thinking, how you feel.
Mm-hmm. Well, what if someone doesn't know? They just know that something is wrong, but can't put their finger on it.
So they know something is wrong, but they can't put their finger on it. I'm of the opinion that people do know. They may not want to admit that they know, but they do know. And by saying that they don't know, they give themselves the excuse to be like, well, since I don't know what it is, I'll just stay where I am. But you know something is wrong. So maybe you want to just sit and write in a journal. Take time, because we're always rushing and going places. We don't really give ourselves the opportunity to actually sit and to think. So maybe take some time, maybe 5 minutes a day, and write down how you're feeling and write down what's happening during your day. And then go back and look and say, okay, what are some coincidences that are happening? What keeps happening in my life that I'm feeling that I don't know, or something's not right? And start to write it down to collect what the patterns might be. So on Monday, I write down, all right, I don't know what's wrong, but I don't like something about this. So describe this. What is this? And then tomorrow I'll be like, okay, I still don't like this, and just keep describing it until eventually your mind lets you figure out what it is, that pattern that keeps happening that you don't like. Does that make sense?
It does. Now, before we get out of here, I want to ask you about your recommendations for those people who are reluctant to own their voice, to share their voice. And I say this because there are educators on Twitter who have a private profile because they want limited people to have contact, or they have a personal profile, personal account, and a work account, which for me, the reason I don't have one is because I am who I am. And if I try to compartmentalize those, at some point, you're going to get comfortable and something's going to bleed and you won't into one or the other anyway. So I just figure I am who I am, and if I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired, or I'm going to tick somebody off, so it doesn't even matter whether which account it's on, because I am going to just be me. But for those who are reluctant of really owning themselves and sharing their voice because they have a fear of what may come of it, what is your recommendations or advice for them in moving forward?
So I'm like you. When I first started my accounts online, I was thinking, should I have a different one for myself and one for my business? And then I thought, that's just way too much work. So it's like, just do it all in one. But I do understand that some educators, they want to keep it private because they don't, if they teach in the high schools or younger, they don't want their students to follow them or know their personal life. And I would say that if you're on social media, there's a chance that someone's going to find you anyway. But it depends. I would say that just because you're on social media, it doesn't mean you have to bear your whole soul out there. There are some people, when I used to teach social media, the one question people would ask all the time is, how much of myself, what's too much to share? I'm like, well, share as much as you're comfortable sharing. And we're not asking for you to put like what your relationship status or who you're with. It's just really, the point of social media, I feel, is just to connect with other people. And you can do that in many ways. You can do that by sharing information, maybe sharing a special lesson, or maybe you can share, hey, I had this, people love to post pictures of food, and you know what, and I like to like them and look at them. So maybe do that. It's just about being genuine and sharing a little bit of yourself. Because as you said, educators, they're people, they're human. We want to see that online, because if you want to teach people, they have to be a little bit invested in you. And if they can't see themselves, a little bit of them in you, that you eat, that you hang out with family and friends, they're not going to really want to learn from you, because they're like, well, I mean, they're only one-sided person and I can't really get to know them, so I'll pass.
Excellent. This is awesome.
One more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to say, so for those who are reluctant to do that, I would say, if you're not on social media, if you are, just pick the ones that you enjoy and just start sharing maybe a little thing. Maybe today, share a happy Mother's Day, or maybe if you want to put a picture of you and your mom, or maybe flowers or something. Just start sharing one little personal thing, not a whole thing. You don't have to put your whole house on there or anything. Just one little thing that's a little personal, but not revealing everything about you. And just do that a little bit a day and just see how that feels. But if you don't feel comfortable sharing something, then don't share it. But just try just a little bit to show a little bit of your personality. maybe even in your words, maybe a little sassy if that's really you. Or if you have a sense of dry humor, put that out there. Just show us a little bit more of you.
Excellent. I appreciate you being on the show today. And as always, people, be you, EDU, and be on the lookout for the next show. Let's thank ChaChanna for being on the show. And as always, I thank you for being a viewer. Thank you, ChaChanna, for being on the Dr. Will Show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good one.